Hello friends and welcome to Time Classes. Today's topic is the part 2 for line charts, and the handout that we will be using is the IHO 3531903. In the last class we have covered how a question or data on line charts looks like, how to interpret it, and then solved two of the sets from your handout. Today we will solve the remaining three sets. So I also would like to say that please keep a copy next to you for some quick solving and also taking down notes based on what I share in the lecture. Without further ado, let's get started. This is question set number 6 to 10. So first, please look at what is given to you. Okay, so basically you are given some data with 5 years and the number of students who appeared and passed in class 10 in all of these years. So when you have appeared and passed, then obviously you can easily calculate failed in any particular year as well. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, I'll give you an example. For example, in 2014, 42.5 thousand students appeared and 35,000 students passed. So that means 42.5 minus 35, that is 7.5 students failed in 2014. Okay, so this is how to interpret the data. That is the first question. Take 30 seconds. Okay, so while interpreting this problem, we saw that in which year how many students failed can be easily calculated as simply the difference between appeared and passed. Okay, so we can see that in 2016 number of students who failed is 50 minus 40, that is 10,000. In 2012 it is 15,000. Then C option is 2015. In 2015 it is again 15,000, and in 2014 it is 7.5 thousand. So the answer will be D, to 7.5 thousand or 7,500. So it's simply triangle minus circle for each of the years, and the least value comes out to be for 2014. That is 7,500. Okay, next question 7. For how many years is the number of students passed more than the average number of students passed for the given period? Okay, so you have to read this one carefully. Take 30 seconds. Okay, so first we find out the number of students who passed, the average number of students who passed. So average will be simply add all the circles and divide by 5, and that turns out to be 30,000. 20 plus 25 plus 35 plus 30 plus 40. That is 30,000. Now you could have also calculated the average orally for this question, because you could have seen that 20 and 40 middle value is 30, 25 and 35 middle value is 30, and another 30. So that means the average has to be 30. So if you did not understand what I just said, it's perfectly fine. Obviously, by using this way, you can calculate the average. Otherwise, also orally it could have been done by checking that it's the middlemost value, because the mean would be the middlemost value. Okay. Okay. Now, when the average students who passed is 30,000, for how many years is the value greater than 30,000? So 35, 40, only for 2 of the years. So that means the answer should be option B. Only for 2 of the years, the value is greater than 30,000. So it would be option number B. I hope this is fine. So you have to understand clearly what is the question asking for. For how many years is the number of students who passed more than the average number of students who passed? Okay. Okay. Next question. Read carefully. Okay. So we go to 2016. Here we are. And the district education authorities expected that 75% of the students who appear will pass. So 75% of 50,000 will be 37,500. 75% of 50,000 is 37,500. Actual students passing is 40,000. So that means number of students who passed with more than the target set is 40,000 minus 37,500, that is 2,500. That is 2005. Okay. Okay, let's go to the next question. Question 9. Okay, so the main problem here is that number of students in 2013 is not the same as number of students in 2012. So if you would have taken the fees of a student in 2013 as x plus 16, then in 2012 it would be x. So if you subtract these two, 40 into x plus 16 minus 35x, you don't get a constant answer. Are you getting the point? Total fees 40 into x plus 16 minus 35x is not a constant value. It depends on x. You need to know how much each student paid in 2012 as well. That information is needed. Okay. And that is why the answer will be cannot be determined. However, if the number of students had been same in both the years, let's say 35, then the answer would have been 35 into x plus 16 minus 35x. And then you could have possibly gotten an answer. Okay. So you need to be careful over here that in this case, the answer is cannot be determined due to the numbers, but it could have also been an actual absolute value answer. And I want you to write that carefully and clearly in your copy. Okay. Since the values are not the same, that is why it is cannot be determined. Since 35 and 40 are different, that is why it is cannot be determined. Otherwise, you could have gotten an absolute value answer. Please write all this down. Okay. So let's move to the next question. This will be the toughest question in this set. So take around 1 minute to try this. Okay, so let's see what do we have over here. So basically in 2015, 10% of the students passed with at least 60 marks. So 2015, 45,000, 10% is 4,500. If 10% of them passed with at least 60% of the marks, that means the remaining people would have secured less than 60% marks. Now, in total, the students who passed are 30,000. Of them, 4,500 passed with at least 60% marks. So that means the remaining people who passed would not have secured 60% marks. So that's simply 30,000 minus 4,500, that is 25. That's all. As simple as that. This question could have had some variations. It could have said how many students scored less than 60% of the marks. So in that case, you would have to take 45,000 minus 4,500. But it says that how many students passed but secured less than 60% of the marks. So 4,500 secured at least 60%. That means the remaining out of the 30,000 will secure less than 60% and they will pass. So 30,000 minus 4,500 is 25,500. Option number D. Okay. I hope this is fine. So here you have to really read carefully what is asked for. Otherwise, the question is not difficult. Okay, next. This is question 16 to 20. Please first look at the data. Okay. So in different years for a school, you are given a triangle, a circle, and a square. Triangle is the number of students who appeared. Square is number of students who passed. Circle is number of students who passed with distinction. So in 2012, how many students failed? Triangle minus square. See, the way I'm explaining it is so that immediately you can simply look at the symbol and know what needs to be done. So number of students who failed would be 600 minus 500, that is 100. Number of students who passed is 500. Passed with distinction is 200. So passed without distinction is 500 minus 200. Passed without distinction in 2013 is 550 minus 400. Okay, so this will be passed without distinction. And number of students who failed in 2015 would be, in 2015, number of students who failed 1200 minus 800, that is 400. And passed without distinction will be 800 minus 400, that is 400. Okay, so now that you have understood the data, let's move to the first question. What is the total number of students who failed in all the years together? Take 30 seconds. Okay, so let's see. So students who failed over here, triangle minus square, 100. Next, 750 minus 550, 200. Next, 250. Next, 400. It's 1200 minus 800. Next, 450. And next, 400. Okay, so that's what you have. And then you add all of them and you get 1800 as the answer. Option number 8. So this data set has a little more data in it, which may make things a little time consuming, but it's still easy, straightforward. Okay. Number of students who failed in all the years. So simply triangle minus square for all the years. Okay, let's go to the next question. What is the average number of students who passed but not with distinction in 2012, 13, 14 together? Take 30 seconds. So we want average for 3 years, 12, 13, 14. So we'll be dividing by 3. And we want number of students who passed but not with distinction. So that is going to be square minus circle. Passed and distinction, subtract them, you get passed without distinction. Okay, so for 12, 13, 14, you get 500 minus 200 plus 550 minus 400 plus 750 minus 600. Plus 750 minus 600 divided by 3, that is 600 divided by 3, that's equal to 200. That's equal to 200. It's choice number B. Okay, again, straightforward, easy question. This is fine, I hope. Past is square, with distinction is circle. Past with distinction is circle. So with past without distinction will be square minus circle. Okay. Next, question 18. In which of the following years is the pass percentage the highest? Okay, let's all. So again, I was able to do this question orally. And when you want the highest pass percentage, then you want the square to be as close to the triangle as possible, right? Pass percentage highest means you want the number of students who are appearing and you want most of them to pass. That means square should be as close to triangle as possible. Okay. And the years are 12, 14, 15, 17. So you look at 12, gap is 100, gap is 250, 15 gap is 400, and 17 gap is 400. So most probably my answer is going to be 2012 because that is the closest. So let's see. So we are going by the answer options. 2014, out of 1,000, 750 passed. That's 75%. 2015, out of 1,200, 800 passed. That's 66.66%. 2012, out of 600, 500 passed. That's 83.33%. And 2017, out of 800, 400 passed. That's 50%. So the answer will be 2012, choice number C. And it is as we predicted. And we were able to do this without calculating it. Please note this down. Okay, next question. What percentage of the number of students who failed is the number of students who passed with distinction in the year 2017? Take 30 seconds. Read the question slowly. Okay. So we want a percentage value. That means we need a numerator and a denominator, and we will multiply by 100. So what percentage of the number of students who failed? This is the denominator. What percentage of the number of students who failed? I made a small change in the language, so you can correct that in your question. Is the number of students who passed with distinction in 2017? So number of students who passed with distinction is 200. That's the numerator. And the number of students who failed is 800 minus 400. That is 400. That's the denominator. So my answer should be 200 divided by 800 minus 400 into 100. That is 50%. Option number D. Just reading the question carefully. What percentage of the number of students who failed? Students who failed is 800 minus 400 and it becomes the denominator. Is the number of students who passed with distinction becomes the numerator. Okay. Okay, next question. Yeah, this question will be a little time consuming, but calculate carefully and you will get the answer. Take 30 seconds. Okay, let's see. So, which of the following is the least? That means we need to calculate all of these. Keep writing them down and then you'll know the least value. Number of students who passed without distinction in 2012. 2012 without distinction square minus circle, that's 300. Number of students who failed in 2014, that's 1000 minus 750, 250. So do you see, I'm not reading anything now. I know the difference between which symbols represents what, and it saves a lot of time in the exam. Okay, so this was 300, this is 250. Students who passed with distinction in 2016 is 250. So currently option B and C are tied as being the least. Students who failed in 2013. Failed in 2013 is 200. So the answer should be option number D. As we saw, 300, 250, 250, 200. The answer should be option number D. Option number D. Okay, let's move to the last and final question set. Or you want to go over this again? Okay, I'll go over this with my arrow. Students who passed without distinction in 2012 will be 500 minus 200, that is 300. Students who failed in 2014 will be 1000 minus 750, that is 250. Passed with distinction in 2016 is given as 250. Failed in 2013 is failed in 2013 is 750 minus 550, that is 200. Okay, so you get the answer. So let's continue. Okay. Tough one, tough set. So first look at the data clearly, slowly. Okay, so what do we have? We have years, we have estimated projects, offshore projects, and onshore projects. Estimated projects, offshore projects completed, onshore projects completed. And the value of a project in a particular year increases from 2013 to 2016. So 12 to 13, the value is 25. It's given that in 2012, value is 25 crores. Then in 2013, it increases by 20%. In 2014, it increases by 20%. In 2015, it increases by 25%. And in 2016, it increases by 20%. Okay. Sure. So, for example, what would be the value of a project in 2014? So in 2012, it's 25 crores. In 2013, increase by 20%. What is 20% of 25 crores? That's 5 crores. So it becomes 30 crores in 2013. 2014 increases by 20%. What is 20% of 30 crores? That's 6 crores. So it becomes 36 crores. Like this, it keeps increasing. Then in 2015, it increases by 25%. What is 25% of 36? 9 crores. So 36 plus 9, 45 crores per project. Okay, sure. In 2013, what is the total turnover of Ram Consultants? Take 30 seconds. Okay. So 2013, what is the total turnover? So total projects, 37 plus 20, 57 into cost of a project. So what is cost of one project as we saw? 25 crores in 2012. In 2013, it increases by 20% and it becomes 30 crores. So this is what you have. 25 into 1.2 becomes 30 and the number of projects is 57. So 57 into 30 becomes 1710 crores. Option number D. Option number D. Total projects into cost per project. So I was able to mentally calculate this as well because I just increased it by 20%. And otherwise, of course, you keep multiplying again and again. But it's just easier. Multiplying by 1.2 is going to take time, whereas finding 20% and adding is very quick. Okay, next. Approximately what percentage did the total turnover exceed the estimated turnover in 2015? Take 30 seconds. Okay. See, total turnover and estimated turnover will be number of projects into value of project, and value of project is going to remain the same. So that will get cancelled out when you are finding the percentage value. Percentage is a comparison, no? So the value of project will get cancelled out. So we need to simply compare number of projects. 2015, 62 is how much percentage more than 55. Okay. So here you have it. In 2015, actually this is not correct. Should not be 55 into 25 because the value of the project is changing every year. Anyways, okay, so that's why I'm clearly mentioning that first this is a mistake. It should not be 25. It will be 25 into 1.2 into 1.2 into 1.25. But it doesn't matter because you are calculating percentage value, so they will get cancelled out. So actually, what are you comparing then? 62 minus 55 divided by 55 into 100. That is 12.7%. Okay, so this question is a little, this data set is a little more complicated because there's more data given to you. Next, during which of the following years is the turnover of offshore projects not more than 150% of the turnover of the onshore projects? Take 30 seconds. Okay, so once again, we are comparing turnovers. Turnover is value of project into number of projects, but the value of the project in a particular year is going to remain the same. So that means we can only, if we simply compare the number of projects completed, sufficient. It's more than enough. So what do we need to compare? During which of the following years is the turnover of offshore projects not more than 1.5 times? See, 150% is what? 1.5. 150 by 100, 1.5. Offshore projects is not more than 1.5 times of onshore projects. So I take the onshore project, multiply it by 1.5 and compare it with offshore projects. And if I want 1.5, I'm not going to multiply by 1.5. I'm going to take that project and then add half. If you want, for example, 1.5 times of 7. So I won't do 15 into 7 divided by 10. No, no, no. Take 7. What is 1.5 into 7? 7 into 1 plus 7 into half. Orally it's done. 7 into 1 is 7 plus 7 into half is 3.5. 7 plus 3.5, 10.5. Done. Okay. This is how I will calculate multiplication by 1.5. Now, let's take the onshore projects. In 2012 onshore project is 15. So 15 into 1.5 becomes 15 plus half of 15. 15 plus 7.5, that's 22.5. So offshore is more than 150% of onshore. Yes, is this fine? I took onshore, I did into 1.5 and then I compared it with offshore. Is 28 more than 22.5 or not? Yes, it is. So that means 28 is more than 150% of onshore projects. That's what you have over here. 28 is greater than 15 into 1.5. And we need to find out for which year is it not more than. This is more than. Let's find out which it is not more than. So let's go for 2013. 20 into 1.5 becomes 30. Again, 37 is more than 30. So this is not acceptable. Okay. Next you go for 20. Fine. 2014 is not in the options, but let's do it. 25 into 1.5 is 37.5. 42 is more than 37.5, but we are looking for not more than. Next, you go to 2015. 20 into 1.5 is 30. 42 is more than 30. So again, this is not acceptable. And 30 into 1.5 is 45. 37 is not more than 45. So the answer should be 2016. That is option number D. Please write this down. I will explain it again. So what I'm doing is that I'm quickly calculating 1.5 times of onshore projects and then comparing it with offshore. Is offshore greater than 1.5 times of onshore or not? For every year I'm checking. And I'm doing this orally, mentally. So for 2014, is 42 more than 37.5 or not? Yes. Is 42 more than 30 or not? Yes. Is 37 more than 45? No. So 2016 is the answer. Please write this down. Option number D. Okay, let's move to the next question. Okay, you can do this orally. Take 30 seconds. Chalo. So here all we need to do is compare estimated projects with onshore plus offshore projects. Okay. So you have the estimated projects for all the years, and then you have the total projects onshore plus offshore. Okay. So 28 plus 15 is 43. 37 plus 20 is 57. 42 plus 25 is 67. 42 plus 20 is 62, and 37 plus 30 is 67. And I see that 2012 completed projects is more, 2013 is more, 2014 is more, 2015 is more, 2016 is more. That means for all the years, completed projects are more than estimated projects. So the answer should be choice A, 5 years. Okay, very straightforward question. Now, last question for today. There's again a mistake in the options in your handout, so you can correct that. During which year percentage increase in turnover of completed projects is the least when compared to that of the previous year? Take 30 seconds. I'll give you 1 minute because there's a lot of calculation involved in this question. And you need turnover, that means you need value of each project and the number of completed projects. Okay, let's solve. So what do we have to do basically? You have to compare turnover of consecutive years and check the percentage increase. So let's look at question 2013. 2013, what is the completed projects? 57. And what is the cost of one project? 25 into 1.2, that's 30. So total turnover in 2013 will be 57 projects into 30 crores per project. And we want to compare it with 2012, where there were 28 plus 15 projects, 43 projects costing 25 crores each. Okay, so you subtract them, divide by 43 into 25 into 100, and you get 62.7%. This is what you need to do for all of the years 13, 14, 15, 16. Let's look at 2014. Completed project was 42 plus 25, 67. Cost of one project will be 30 into 1.2, increased by 20%, that's 36, minus 57 into 30 is coming from the previous question. Compare divided by 57 into 30. So you get 37.8%. Okay, I hope you are writing down. Next, 2015, you have 62 projects and 36 increases by 25%. 25% is 1 by 4. 1 by 4 into 36 is 9. So 36 plus 9 is 45. So 62 projects costing 45 crores per project minus for the previous year, I take the data. 67 projects at 36 crores per project. Divide, multiply by 100, I get 15.6%. And finally for 2016, I have 67 projects. Now 45 crores increases by 20%. That's 45 plus 9, 54 crores. 67 into 54 is the new turnover in 2016 minus the old turnover, which is 62 into 45, divided by 62 into 45 into 100. That's 29.16%. And the question asked us, what is the, in which year is the percentage increase the least? So we can see that percentage increase is the least in 2015. Please write this down. So the answer is option number C. Okay, so let's look at this question one more time. I had initially explained with the data how the value of each project is changing. 2012 it is 25, 2013 it increases by 20%. So 25 increases by 5, that's 30. 30 increases by 20%, that's 30 plus 6, 36. 36 plus 9, 45. And 45 plus 9, 54. So you get the value of the projects 25, 30, 36, 45, 54. And then you have the number of completed projects, so you get the total turnover. So the total turnover is being compared in across consecutive years, and the percentage increase is being found. And with this, we finish today's topic on line charts. It was not a complicated topic. It's simply different kinds of questions where the data is given in terms of line charts. Okay. So for me, there was no complication, but you can certainly share your doubts and feedback in the chat option. And thank you for your time and attention.